of the probability so that we have a linear relationship. We transform that to linear relationship. The same thing here. We compare our complex sample with the simple random sampling and see how how can we do, how can we get unbiased estimate.
So does that become the new standard error? So is it 46 plus or minus 1.9?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Then, this is a summary of what we will see today. We will study each of the elements separately, understand what they mean, define them, and define how they affect the standard error. But this is what we should expect. If we have stratification, that is decrease the standard error, decrease the variance. If we use clustering, that will increase the standard error. If we use rating, that will also increase the standard error. The problem is that we don't use only one of them, we use combination of them. This is why we can have depth that is lower than 1 or depth that is greater than 1, because we use combination of them. Any questions so far? The remaining of the talk will be showing you, define what is stratification and showing you why we think why this is lower the standard error. But so far we understand why this is important when we are using data from the survey, or we are looking at results from the survey. We need to understand how the sample was done, if they use this kind of element we will describe, in order to have a better understanding what is the variance for the standard error of the estimate that they represent. Any questions so far? Okay. Stratification, probably you saw that in your field, it just divided people between groups, between subgroups. Then we can stratify a sample by male and female, or stratify by region. All the last survey that I saw, they all stratify by region, or sometimes it's 7, sometimes it's 9 census region of the US. You can stratify. But you expect, when you are doing stratification, you expect element within the stratum should be homogeneous, and they should be different between each other. Stratification is kind of a natural things occurring in the data. Then we stratify the US by region. We expect people in the eastern region, they have some values, they're similar to each other. Them actually people in the Midwest, then people in the Western region. We're trying the stratum should be homogeneous between them, and they should differ from each other. This is very important because this is what will have create the effect on our standard error, because we separate the group and we give a sample of each of the group. Since the group, we expect each group to be homogeneous, the variance of each group will be smaller. Then when we take the average of the variance of each group, the average also will be smaller if we put everybody together and take the variance. Because within the group, they're homogeneous, but they're different between the group. It's that we kind of take away a little bit the difference between them when we stratify them by homogeneous group. this is the case of Kentucky. If I want to do a survey of Kentucky, I probably will stratify by region. And I know each of the region, I probably have homogeneous group, homogeneous population, and then the difference between them will be lower because I'm taking each region we have is on sample. It's not one big sample. Each region we have is on sample. I can calculate the variance for each region separately and take the average of the variance. Then the average of the variance will be lower because I'm taking out some of the difference that I have between the observation because I stratified them before. Then the advantage of stratification is I can have one estimate for each stratum, for each region separately, and take the average. And by doing that, I've been able not only to stratify and take a sample of each of them, I will have enough information for each of them to compare them between them. One idea of stratification is group of interest. I stratify because I'm interested of studying this group. If I'm interested of the example of Kentucky of stratify by region, that means I need to have enough people in my sample to be able to say something about each of the region. Then I will take one sample for each region, and by doing that, like I've explained, by averaging between the region, they were different, but I take different samples by averaging between all of them. That will reduce my variance, that will reduce my standard error. But how do you take a sample of the region? Then this is the concept of sampling fraction. This is the size of the sample divided by the size of the population. For example, if I have a population of 10,000 and I'm doing a sample of 1,000, that's 10% of the sample. Then one thing I can decide to do is take 10% of the sample in each of my stratum, in each of the regions that I have. That, if I do that, that is called proportional stratification. I take the same sampling fraction in each of the regions. I say 10% per region, and if I have this example, then I have a sample that have 800 men and 200 women. That is not close to reality, but if I'm doing a sample of this and I take 10% of the sample, then I will have 100 in my sample, then 10% of 800 is 80, 10% of 200 is 20. This is called proportionate stratification. I have a proportionate representation of women and men in the sample. But how you can see, the sample of women will be very small in order to say something about them. Then sometimes this is the problem of proportional stratification. If I were doing a sample of Kentucky as our example, the eastern region has low population density. If I'm trying to do proportional sample, they will be underrepresented on my sample. Then this is now the other concept that we were talking about, that is disproportionate stratification. I can decide, like you were, I can decide, no, I want my sample to be 50-50. 50 women, 50 men and 50 women. The advantage, I can compare the outcome between them. I'm able to do analysis comparing men between women because I have the same enough cases. That is what is called a oversampling of the women. If I use proportionate, it will be only 20 women, but I'm using disproportionate. I decided to take the same amount between the two of them. 50-50 is my sampling fraction here, but it's not, it's different, disproportionate. It gives me the advantage of comparing the group. I can compare the group. I oversample one of the minority group so that I can compare them. Then, if I have this sample, you will see now I have a problem. Whenever I have to do the analysis, I have to weight the sample so that it becomes disproportionate, proportionate sample. I have to, the sampling fraction is different for each of them, like I mentioned. Then that means they don't have equal probability of selection. The sampling fraction is different, they don't have equal probability of selection. Then to correct and make them having the equal probability of selection, I have to use weight. And the weight in this case will be equal of the inverse of the sampling fraction. 1 over 0.625 is 16, 1 over 0.25 is 4. Then I have to multiply them in my sample for this value so that each of them